Hey guys, it's Jerry McNulty, the Whistling Whittler, and I'm here today with a new video. Today we're going to be carving a female figure, and this is going to be a flat plane. It is a $2 digital download if you want the pattern from whistlingwhittler.com. This is actually, if you've done flat plane Stefan, this is the lady that goes with him, and she's a younger flat plane carving as well, so you can do the two. If you haven't done this one, go ahead and do it, and this lady will be joining her. Remember, if you like our videos, please like and subscribe. Leave comments. I love the comments. But this will be a fun one. I'm hoping you guys enjoy her. She's semi-easy, but knife only. Knife only. But let's go, guys. Let's get going. Appreciate it. Okay, here we go. I've got, this was our flat plane Stefan, and in order to put him with a partner here, you know, he looked kind of young, so we couldn't go too old with it. So this is what we've got, and this is Hannah. And Hannah, you know, the key to making Hannah look a little young, I think, was the, you know, a smaller neck. A bigger neck wouldn't have done that. You know, I didn't put the traditional, you know, hair cover on her. You know, so hopefully that made her a little bit younger. She doesn't have a hard smile line. Like his smile line comes all the way down. Hers is just a little bit starting. You know, the younger the face, the less of and deep of a smile line. So little ears, you know, normally on a female, sometimes you put the hair down and you don't have the ears, but she's got her hair up. So we'll do that. But this is a little bit of tie in the back. You know, a lot of little design and paint. And this eye is pretty simple. It's nothing but the eye cavity, and then we've painted the eyeball, which is similar to what we've done with Stefan. So a couple little details on here, but this should be a fun carve. To start with, we're going to lay out our block, and these were carved with a base. So if you're carving a Hannah to go with Stefan, making sure your base is about the same size will help them look together. So what I did is kind of use Stefan to gauge where my base is. And then I'll come down here and mark it on the, transfer that line using my finger as a gauge to the bottom of this base. Let me put her just in frame. The pattern, this is the pattern. If you can screenshot, good for you. Otherwise, this will be a $2 digital download pattern on the whistlingwhittler.com. The knife I have to use today, this is from WPC Wood Carving. This is off of Etsy, and I've used a knife of his before, and it was really good. So he's sent this one to me. This is a really cool knife. I've used it a couple times already, and very sharp. I've got it stropped up and put it on the buffing wheel for today. So this is the knife I'll be using. This is a sheath that he sends with him. Very good made sheath, and I think it's probably one of the best sheaths I have, so really enjoy that. So I'm going to put him just out of sight here. Okay, so to start off, we marked our line on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and mark reference lines. Here we'll start with a center line down the front of it. And I'm going to continue that around the back. I'm going to do a line here separating the head from the neck. I'm going to do a line separating the side of the face. So I'm going to divide this in half. And this is just an eyeball thing. probably about right here. So I'm going to gauge that right here, transfer that line to this side. And I could kind of come across here and you can kind of see that it's somewhat even. A little bit back further. Okay. For here, I'm going to use the center line and I'm going to draw a circle here. And that's going to represent the bun there. From here, I'm going to divide this line in half, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this bend here where the bun is. And I know what I'm doing is creating the ear block there, but it probably won't be that big. I just wanted to make sure I have plenty of space to start. So I can kind of see where my eye line is, but I'm not going to mark this yet. I'm going to make sure I get my eye line before I really lay out where the ears fall on here. The arms, using this curve coming down here, I'm going to come out just a little bit and put the arm there. This one actually comes a little bit further. You're going to end up planing this off, and so you don't want the arm all the way out here because you'll lose that. And this arm is actually folded underneath the apron. So wherever this arm stops, that's where that apron's going to start. So let's go a little bit further here, about like that. And then making sure that this width is the same as when you come up. This is actually, let's go right here for the elbow and there. So this actually comes forward and not back. So the arm's cocking just a little bit back. And I don't go all the way up to the neck. It's stopping just a little bit shallow so that we have room to put a collar in here. And this will change a little bit as we push that neck back and the head back. So we'll actually end up with more room as you see right here. So wouldn't worry about that too much. This side, same thing. Looking at here, we came across here. You can gauge this to see where that top corner is. It's about right there. And I didn't do that right. There we go. Side looks a little bit thicker here than the other side, but we'll go with that. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to go ahead and, well, let's do one more line here. Let's do, this pattern has a little flat area here, and that's going to actually be these feet. And you don't have to put the feet in here. I like the feet because it matched what Stefan was doing, but we're going to use that line here for the feet and this center line here to divide them. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and just notch out these corners here so that when I do some cuts, it doesn't drive through the base. So these are just little notches in the base to make it stop when I need it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is separate the head from the torso. And so I've got this line here, and I'm going to use kind of a V cut, but I'm going to do it coming down this way and then coming up this way to meet it. And actually what I'm going to do is from this corner here, I'm going to taper this arm into that V cut. Just like that. And you will have to come back here and draw that back. And I might go deeper here, but I'm going to work on the other side first and make sure that they match till we get there. So I did this, and then I came from here. So that one is further, so I need to take a little bit off the other side. And you see what I've done here is leave a really clean cut that I don't really have to clean up. And that's part of it, making sure you can do that so that when you come back, when you're done, there's not a whole lot of cleanup. So, okay. Okay, so now I've got this line here, and I've got this line here, and what I want to do is narrow the face almost as a triangle from that line to this front center line, kind of like this. So I'm just taking these edges off, and I'm doing this as cleanly as possible, and I'm going to have to come from both directions because of grain change. Now, I'm not trying to get a really hard point there. I want it to be a little bit rounded. And making sure that the angle is the same on each side. Okay, I've got a little bit more to go down here. Okay, so what I'm looking at too here is this area here, that's going to be the width of the nose as it comes across. And she's actually got a really tiny nose, so I can come in quite a bit more from that. And I think that's one of the things that helps getting that feminine look in there is the, you know, you don't want a really big honker. A little bit delicate and a little bit more finesse in this nose. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and knock off the corners on this up here. And I'm going to take this angle here and I'm going to start tapering the sides of this nose up here as well. So this is the nose right here. I'm going to come down just a little bit. I'm going to angle my knife in just a tad bit, push it down, and give myself a stop cut. I'm going to take this all the way back so it gives the nose a little bit of profile. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from this corner here and narrow the bridges of the nose. So I'm going to use this angle here on my center line as where I'm pushing the knife. So I'm going to push this knife here and stop it there, and then do the same thing right here. So I've took off the nose, given it sides, but I'm also started what will be the eye mound. So I'm going to finish that a little bit more and define this eye mound, cleaning up that nose cut on both sides. I'm going to take this down just a tad bit. And up just a little bit. Okay. So with this measurement here, I'm able to transfer that on the side. So I can look at, this is my eye mound. It's going to come across here. This is the bottom of my nose. It's going to hit right here. And I can do that on both sides. So right here and right here. Let's look at that, make sure it's equal. Pretty close. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is push my knife down right here and pull that back. And then do the bottom one. Do the back side. And then this front. Okay, same thing here. Okay, what I'm done here, I'm going to examine it both sides and make sure the ears are about the same thickness on both sides and that they're sticking out about the same, that I've come down around the sides the same. So this one's a little bit taller. Not bad. Okay, so now I need to come down still a little bit here, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work on this this line right here. So let's first give it the profile from the bottom. I'm just going to push my knife in here and swoop up like that. So I'm giving myself a bottom arm, or the bottom profile of the arm. I'm going to do the same thing this side. So you see in these cuts here, what I'm doing is it's just flat, nothing rounded really. It's just making clean cuts, and having a real sharp knife sure does help. So I'm going to do this one here. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put my knife at that corner here. I'm just going to push it down. And do the same thing here. I'm pushing it down. Now I'm not really rotating like this because that'll sink that blade in there as far as it can go. I'm just doing it more on the surface, and then I can come in here and remove this chip. And it would be real easy for me to pry that, but that's not going to be good for my new knife here. Okay, so from here, now that I've got a little depth, I can take this front side off and push this bound back. And I can take this one back and push it on back. I'm going to go ahead and give myself the stop cut here as the arm's going into the skirt. If it doesn't come out clean, redo your stop cut. And I'm going to also just skim over this, so I'm taking the bandsaw marks off. Clean this little guy out here. I'm going to duplicate that on the other side. So I'm pushing down in here, pushing down in here. And as I'm coming across here, it'd be really easy to come through that wood and hit myself. So you might make sure you got your carving glove on, and then you ease up pressure as you come across there. But if it's not coming out, deepen that stop cut till it does come out. There it goes. I heard it pop. Okay, now I can come back here and take that out. And I'm going to turn around here so I can see where I'm at. Okay. I'll give myself a stopping point right here at the back. Stop cut. I'm doing this at an angle, so it's actually a V coming across here. But that'll give me somewhere for my neck to roll up. Okay, from here I'm going to do the jawline. So let's go ahead and taper this ear back. So I'm taking this ear box and I'm going to take the corner off and angle it back. I'm going to do that on each side. Okay, so now from the front of this ear, as it comes down here, I'm coming down a little bit and then angling it in. Do the same thing here, angling it in. This one seems like it's a little bit further. As I look at this jaw does look a little lower, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm going to angle my knife this way, away from the jawline, and I'm going to stop cut that right there. And then from this side, I'm going to remove that. So I'm doing another stop cut on the bottom of the ear, and then I'm coming across here and removing that piece. And I'm going to taper that head as it comes back there. So it should look just like that. Same thing on this side. So I'm going to come across here so it doesn't stick, and then there, and then down. And come meet it on this side. Okay, so that allows me to do a couple things here. I can shape the jaw a little bit. She comes in quite a bit. I can also, at this eye line, I'm going to swoop this back. So I'm going to narrow the face at the eye line. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take where this point comes down and I'm going to pull it back up like that. So you see that big chunk there? It pulled the face back and narrowed it at that eye line. This one's a pairing cut because of the angle of the grain. So that came back pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to reestablish that eye line here. So one of the things that you're trying to do when you do this eye line here is to make sure that you are creating a surface to put your eye on here that is on a horizontal. I see a lot of projects where I come to people and they're trying to do these weird angles and wondering why their eye doesn't work. A lot of it is just comes with the setup. Okay, so I'm going to draw my hairline on here. And this hairline is going to come like here. So that'll be her hairline. I'm going to mark this right here because that's where that bun is. And I'm not really ready to do the bun yet, but I just want to take off a few corners here so I can visually see it as I'm kind of shaping out the face. Okay, and I need to do the sides here too. So I'm starting with the stop cut and then come from the side and pulling that off so it doesn't pull off anything that I do not want. Okay, she's coming. So now I'm going to do a stop cut on this hairline so that I can know where the edges of my face are and be ready to start working on facial details. Seems like this side of the face is always more difficult because of the right to left hand and grain direction. I'm just going to take off a few corners here Ease this forehead. That's one of the features of a female is the way that their forehead goes back compared to males. If you're really interested in learning some more definitions or details about the differences between male and female faces, I'd recommend a book by Ivan Whitlock or Willick that you can get from the Whittling Shack, and it's a light, easy book, but it has the faces diagrammed out, and you can really see those details for men and women's faces. Very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to now do the nose. I'm going to find the center point up here on the eye line. I'm going to draw where I want my lines to be, and that's already a little bit fatter than this one. I'm going to go ahead and leave it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my knife on that line. I'm angling it away from the nose because it can always narrow it. If you go like this, that nose starts out smaller than you want, and you can make it smaller if that's where you're going. But I'm just going to push this in here, and then I'm going to, from the side, I'm going to remove the excess until I get to that line. Same thing here. Push that in, come back here, remove that excess. Now that I know where that nose is, it allows me to pull this eye line down just a little bit lower. So I'm pushing right here, just a little bit lower, pulling those eyes down just a tad bit. Same thing on this side. So that pulls that nose up just a little bit taller than the, or it pulls the eye line just a little bit lower than this and pulls the nose just a little bit taller than the eye line. Okay, so I can come here and kind of take off that taper, and that'll angle the nose pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to do a little bit of a smile line, not a lot, as we talked about before. I'm going to start just a little bit up, and actually I've got a hard edge there, so I'm going to get rid of that first. And I'm getting some like, you got to strop lines on my knife. So I'm going to pause real quick and strop up. So I just lost a little bit of video here. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and did the stop cuts here on the side of the face. I angled it this way and then came up and removed it this way so that this isn't a sharp edge. So it's almost like a V cut there instead of a stop cut and hard line. Then once I got this done, then I've angled the nose to meet that stop cut. And then I'm going to take off my little pencil lines and narrow the nose just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm rounding the edges of the face just a little bit so it gives it a younger look to it. And I'm going to come down on the sides here quite a bit. The younger she is, the more narrow her face will be. Anything that doesn't look right, I'm continuing to clean up as I go. Okay. So let's go ahead and I've got a little bit of excess material here in front of this ear where we came in. So I'm going to take that and clean that up. That looks a lot better. I come in a little bit more here. The other thing I like to do on these faces is this cheek is fat all the way to the ear. I want it to round a little bit going into the ear, so I'm going to just take off a little bit on the back side of the cheek. And I'll do the same thing right here. Just a little bit. That one just came out, so. Okay, let's shape this ear. I'm just going to do a real simple shape here. Not a lobe or anything. It's just a round surface there. And I'm going to take my knife and kind of block out the shape. Instead of taking this and digging around it, this helps in making a clean ear. So And I'm going to come across here to clean this up a bit. And I want to clean this. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Eventually. I should have drawn these first and compared them. I've got a little bit of more tapering to do. There we go. But that's not the way we're doing it today. That's good. So from here, if you wanted to come back and shape the ear and give it some more style, you can come and remove a little bit through here from the side. Being very gentle with it. Giving a little bit more shape. You got to be careful here because you'll have, as you swoop in here and give it the shape, you'll end up with two different grain directions. So it's very, very delicate in there if you're working. Okay, so for here, I'm just taking out a little bit of scoop in the ear cavity. So I'm going to start just a little bit down. I'm going to lighten up so it doesn't pull all the way through and get my cut, and then I can pull that out. Do the same thing here. Now this one, if I go all the way through here, this is really easy to just come all the way through there. So I'm going to start from the bottom and cut it. Well, let's see, I cut the top off. So I'll do stop cut there to stop it, and I'll have to fix that. So I just lost the top of this ear. It's fallen. There it goes. So I can taper this back out this way and put a little bit more depth there. And that pulls that ear back. Okay, so that's that. So now let's throw some eyes in here. So this eye, I'm going to do a horseshoe. And this tail is a little bit lower. Actually, no, let's do something different. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. Horseshoe, but before I come down here, I'm going to tail off this way. So she's going to come down here. So her tail comes out before it comes down to the bottom. That'll help with that feminine look. So I'm going to do a stop cut here on this side, coming down just a little bit, and I'm going to finish it going this way, and that's just because it's easier for me to cut that way. And I'm going to remove the corner in there, and I am going deep on that corner, so it looks at it like that eye is rolled back into the face that way. And then I'm going to remove a triangle out of that corner there, and a triangle right here. Okay. So let's do the same thing on this side. hard to get in here. Got it. There we go. Okay, so this one on this side seems to have a little bit more meat on it, so I'm just going to thin it up just a little bit to match, and there we go. So let's put some eyes on here, some eyeballs. One thing to watch is she's looking this way because I've got him looking the other way, so they're going to be looking at each other. Now, so for this mouth, on this one, I kind of got a little grimace. I'm going to do the same kind of thing where I'm coming down a little bit, but up a little bit on the tail. And then down. So I'm going to come from this angle and do a stop cut, so it almost gives her an upper lip. And then remove the material. So she's got a little bit of an attitude there looking at him. Okay, now let's give her a little bottom lip. So with the bottom lip, all I'm doing is coming down to where I want it to end and just swooping with my knife a little bit and rolling this. That's a little high. So it creates that bottom lip. Then I'll do a stop cut here and angle or cut just a little bit of that lip so that it fits underneath the upper one. A little bit of cleanup there. Okay, and same thing here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do a neckline here, which is going to come about right here. And now here I want that neck to really be in there or go up there. So I'm going to take from where my neckline is and just start scooping around the whole thing. And it will give you a little bit of cleanup to do. But it's a little bit easier to do it now before we get that clothing in there. Okay, but one thing has to be done, and that's we've got to get our hairline back here. So I'm going to take from this corner of this ear, come down just a little bit, and across right here. So I'm going to block that in, and I'm going to angle this so that it's not a hard edge. So this is neck and this is hair. So this neck needs to curl up and become part of this. So there's a lot that I'm going to take off here so I can thin out that neck. And then I'll soften the edges of the face as it comes down to. Yeah, so she'll have a tiny neck here. That's good. Got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to make it brittle because you've gone so small, but I think I'm in good shape here. Okay. And you can come in and narrow the jaw a little bit too if you like. This looks a little bit fat right here. Actually, it's okay. And I'm gonna take this down just a little bit too hard of an edge. Okay, so I'm gonna do the narrow this a bit more on the bun and shape this out. Making sure you got your bandsaw marks off, and then round a bit of this out. Taper this edge here. Then we'll look up here and soften this a little bit and give it this some shape as well. Making sure your knife has hit every part of this so there's no bandsaw marks left. Yeah, then I put a little bit of a V-cut in here just to give it some little bit of movement. And you can actually give it a little bit more if it's too blocky for you. Okay, so let's throw this neckline in here. So I'm coming down just a little bit at that center line and then around the back. So, and I'm trying to use the flat of my knife and not the point as much as possible when I'm doing these. So I'm taking this and just kind of rounding and then removing a little bit of material as it goes up underneath the dress. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a rounded collar here. And it's going to go all the way around. And let's make it easier on ourselves by putting this arm line in here. So I'm coming short of the collar, but I'm going to come here and I'm tapering it into, or angling it into the center there. And then I'm going to come this way and meet that cut, just like that. Okay, so now I can come here and do a stop cut at the bottom of that collar. Stop cut at the bottom of that collar. Narrowing the gap between here and there and doing a stop cut there. Do a stop cut here. Stop cut here. That narrows the gap here. And then here I'm going to use my tip because I'm angling it. So clean this up just a little bit, going around. Some pencil lines and bandsaw marks. Okay, I'm going to take this a little bit and clean it up from the bandsaw marks. It's got a bust up here. That's one of the big differences, is making sure your bust line is up higher, as if it was an older female. Okay, so let's do these shoes in here. These shoes are going to angle back about right here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop cut this whole entire base and just remove a little bit of material going into that base. I'm going to do that on all four sides. Okay, so let's take this line right here, and I'm going to do a stop cut around the whole thing right here for the top of the shoes, and then take off a chunk of material going into it. I'm going to do a stop cut. Oh, I didn't do this angle here. I'm going to angle my knife going this way, then remove a little bit of material there, giving myself that profile of that boot there. Same thing on this side. This one's an awkward angle. I'm going to set it down, use my desk. There we go. Now I can round this off and back. In the center line, I'm doing a V cut, so I'm angling it in. And then from this side, I'm matching that, and then cutting it loose on the bottom. There you go. And then I'm going to take this corner off on top here to angle the top of the shoes. So I'm coming there, and then I'm using this line here, this same plane, to undercut that and pull that chip out. Come across here, clean up the bandsaw marks. I've got some ugly marks here on the base. Okay. So I've got to work a little bit down in here. We got to get the apron in. Still got some bandsaw marks to go here. So I'm going to take this line here, and as I said before, this shirt's got to be tucked in the apron. So this apron's going to come back to here. And let's look at her there. Yeah, this apron came up, and then it went this way with the height of the feet. So she's tucked into the apron here, and then the height of the feet. And then across the front here, the apron needs to be the height of the top of the hands, so this will come across right here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop cut the top out, and then we can angle the dress in underneath that apron and remove the material. I didn't stop cut the hand going in here, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to stop cut the bottom of the apron. I'm going to stop cut the side of the apron, and then remove that material. Same thing here. Stop cut the side of the apron, stop cut the bottom of the apron, remove the material. And I do need to clean this up too. It's got a lot of marks. Okay. Clean this guy up. Coming from that direction is digging, so I'm turning around going the other way. So now I've got a lot of corners here that I don't want. So what I'm going to do is take this corner off all the way up. And it killed my apron line, so I'm going to come back and add that there. Clean up the front of the apron. And then I'm going to remove a little bit from the corners here as it comes down. I'm going to remove the corners off the back of the dress. I'm going to remove the corners from the arms. Make sure all my arms have gotten all the bandsaw marks off. Got bandsaw marks on the back. Okay, so as this apron comes across the back, up here it's going to have your tie marks. So I'm going to use this line here. I'm going to do a little knot here. I'm going to do the, actually it needs to be lower. This right here, knot's going to be just right here. And then I'm going to do some tails coming down, just like that. We're going to add in some cuff here. So the cuff's going to be pretty easy because I'm just going to lay my knife across there, move the material on the bottom. I lost this line here, so I'm going to recut that. I don't want these to be just two-dimensional, so I am going to take the corners off the edges on both sides. And if you can take a little corner up from the bottom here, making it a little bit more detail there, it helps too. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna stop cut a circle and put the rest of the strap there. So I'm just gonna undercut this here. Around the sides a little bit of my knot. Take the material underneath the apron. Cut the tails. So I have a little bit of knife marks here, or bandsaw. Okay, I'm gonna do a little detail on the shoes. I'm gonna do a sole mark. So I'm just coming across with my knife, doing a stop cut, the whole edge. And removing the material from the top side. think we're getting about there. So I'm gonna shape this a little bit. You see how this has got a little bit of a curve thinning her out. I'm gonna do that. A little bit of movement in the apron. That, and if she had her hands out in there, it'd be bulging it out a little bit too. So I'll swoop this down a little bit. I have to reconnect that. But you can change this up any way you want to. It's pretty forgiving. If I take off a little bit here, it'll make her arms stand out a little bit more too. These are just all those little finishing touches that make a difference. So, and I hadn't tapered this back either. It's giving her a little bit more of a bust. I don't really want a hard shelf here, so there you go. Okay, so I'm not going to go ahead and put wrinkle lines and stuff in here or marks. You can do that. There's some obvious spots where they'll be coming out the corners of the arms. Some of this, as it's tucked under a apron or a strap, there'll be some marks in there. You can do all kinds of things with the hair. But I think she's about done. So this is Hannah. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Please remember that, I take comments, and I love reading the comments. Doing a female figure was actually something that was in the comments. So I do listen to those, and I do take them under consideration. If you want to see something in particular, I know females are always a good subject, although they're very hard to do, and I think that's probably why. I will do some more character females coming up as soon as I get them, start planning. I will be out teaching a couple times this year. I've already got them lined up. I'll be in Florida in February at a couple shows. So jump on to floridawoodcarving.com to check that out. I'll be in Cree, Colorado in July, and I'll be in Texas, in Kerrville, Texas in April. So you can find that at the Texas Woodcarvers Guild site there. And so I'll be out there a couple days with some good friends. If you down in Florida, Roger Stegall is going to be there, and a couple other good instructors, YouTubers, and other things. So looking forward to seeing people out and come take the class live, and it's a lot of fun. But guys, thank you. This is Hannah. She was a lot of fun, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.